Really, really important what charcoal you use. This is Whitlam Flame. It's produced in Oxfordshire using a completely sustainable process from the sustainable management of ancient hardwood forests. Always buy pure lumpwood charcoal. Always buy British pure lumpwood charcoal. That's nothing to do with anything from anybody of a Brexity persuasion, but anything that comes from abroad, irrespective of whether it says restaurant grade, professional, ethically sourced, all that sort of stuff, those things don't actually mean anything because it is a basically unregulated industry. When you ship charcoal from overseas, it may well come from a rainforest, even though it says sustainable, probably with, yeah, it's been greenwashed. When you ship it from overseas, you have to put flame retardants on it to stop it catching fire on the ship, because when charcoal rubs together, imagine in a rough sea, it can ignite. So you have to put flame retardants on it. Then when it gets to the country of destination, you have to put accelerants on it to allow it to catch fire when you put it in your barbecue. If it's local, you don't have to do any of that stuff. So when you look at that not that long ago has been a tree. So it's an incredibly sustainable way of cooking because this uses very little fuel as well compared to an open grill. The other thing as well is that obviously charcoal becomes essentially an ingredient of your food. So whatever wood charcoal you're using, what comes out of the charcoal ends up adding flavour to your food. You don't really want paraffin and chemicals and stuff like that. You want nice natural smoke, flavour, aroma from the charcoal. So the old adage about having to wait till it's white hot before you can start cooking with a good charcoal simply isn't true. That's only true of stuff where you have to burn all the crap out of it before you can start cooking with it. So this lovely charcoal doesn't burn with much smoke. I've had that one going all morning. It's very, 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 very light on smoke. If you want to add extra smokiness, you can always put a bit of wood in, and that's one of the lovely things you can do to give it a bit of extra je ne sais quoi. So that's quite a decent amount. That'll last us all day for whatever we're going to be doing. If I'm cooking on a really low heat, I'd use a little bit less than that. If I'm going to cook quickly for just two of us, I'd use a little bit less than that. So we put some charcoal in there. Make it into a little mound. That's sort of a mound. It's a mound in my book. We open the vents to allow it to work like a chimney, and then I'm going to just hit this charcoal with a blowtorch. Now I do that because I think it's very manly. It makes me look more rugged when I do that. The other alternative is to use those wood wool fire lighters, but again, never use a paraffin fire lighter because it'll taint the food. So I'm going to hit this with a blowtorch for longer than I normally would, because as Andrew said, there's a little bit of creativity to cooking with fire. I know that it's been really damp, so even though that's been outside, there will be a bit of dampness knocking around in this somewhere. So I want to make sure that I really, really get it going. If it's a hot, dry day, you don't need to hit it with a blowtorch for nearly as long, because you know it's going to get going. And you can hear it crackling already. It crackles more when it's a bit damp as well. You can imagine it spits. So I'm just going to get it going in a few different places.